again bittersweet because for a few sweets, or I guess like it's bitter, but then it turns sweet, especially once you realize, especially if HG2 does really go down from the same developers, then the likelihood of like an awesome H&G2 in a really good, I guess like the developers already have learned lessons compared to ones that don't. So with that being said, is that something with like new developers? Are they going to be encountering those same issues if it's going to be like an H&G2 type game? If that is the case, that still is a very sweet case. Same thing for H&G2, regardless if H&G2 is going to be bad or not, because that still is going to spawn more like H&G type games. Yeah, without like H&G, there's already, because talk about this a little bit too, is that there's been some newer FPS and RTS games that are just in that genre, but now there's even better ones. But I'm hoping for, because especially with that indie dev group that we talked a little bit last time about them actually trying to get into the scene of like remaking H&G and stuff. Super cool, super cool. They just stop tomorrow or have already stopped, like that doesn't matter. That stuff never happened before and it's happening. That needs to start, and it's starting. That is so dope. And that's the super sweetness to this stuff, because it is kind of crazy that we're still using this engine. It's just this game's this good, and there's not many other games like it. But if this game was copied in Unreal 5 to the exact detail by a different group, and added more stuff to it, I can guarantee everybody in H&G right now would be playing that game right now. Guaranteed. It would already be known. It would like all that stuff would be played, and people would be playing. Wouldn't be playing H&G right now. And if it was dying, then or if you know if it's going down in the same day and all that type of stuff, same circumstances, or even worse, I don't think people would be as upset. But we gotta wait until that game is unfortunately built, and that is just time. Yeah, look at this bad boy. Oh. And me. Oh no, I didn't mean. Oh, that's the wrong button for that. Oh, I might kill my teammates. Yo, that's actually going to hit him. If he go, okay, he was. If he kept going straight right there. Oh, I hit someone else. I hit an enemy. I saw him driving into it too. For someone just to try to make it, even in the best engines nowadays, it still would take a hot second. And it's kind of crazy that this was made, especially when I got more insights into like just like how this was made over the years, and then with me getting more like into the developer stuff, pretty hardcore. It's like, oh, so that's what they're kind of using, that, and that they did all this, and this was like a browser game, 2013. We're talking about 2013, and it's like all this stuff. It's pretty nuts, pretty like outstanding. Which is why like a level up of H&G would be a godsend. That's why it's like bittersweet for me, because I truly believe within 8 years we're gonna see another H&G, 100%. Or I say 82, but like I'm so confident on that. There's already more FPS and RTS games that are more just than like a student, like 2016. There's already some games around that I've seen on Steam. But now, with the tools and everything, even making it easier, oh man, I just cannot wait. Because with the ideas in the H&G Q&A stream, that's like only the tip of the iceberg. The amount of stuff, of course it would just take a bit more time and, oh, actually, go and fill. More time and effort. But man, would that game be nuts. It would be so nuts. That's what's kind of sucky, is that you gotta like edit your own engine, do all that stuff, and if you don't know how to do all that stuff, you gotta learn to do all that stuff compared to everybody that's on the Unreal or Unity team doing that stuff for you. So that just completely kind of like outdates the engine you're working on like that much faster. And then they drop like Unreal 5, and that makes that even worse. Not even for, or not just for like the Rito engine, but everybody's kind of like own engine. Because now everybody's expecting much more, because everybody's becoming more of a critic, which is a crazy time in gaming. I'm very excited to see, not just for like the only H&G games, but just like the landscape of more possibility and people getting into it. More hungry, thirsty developers. It's just the unfortunate thing is we gotta wait, because everybody's gotta learn. And then once everybody learns after their first like games, and that's when it's gonna start getting serious. For this whole like, I guess, next crazy shift, or like other games, more ambitious games can now be more achieved, which means more variations of games, which would be more saturated, but like for people who are already jaded for like a part of like an FPS game, They don't want a specific game now that can be made more, and people who would want to make that game before couldn't really get into that stuff because the information wasn't that much out there, like YouTube and all that type of stuff. Now ChatGPT asks that a question, and that will give you a good bit. Get the premium version, that'll give you even more. Just wait until the 5th version, and that's going to give you even more, and that's going to be even nuts, or even nuttier, but that's depending on how you use it, of course. I love the tier 1. Well, now with how much you can do stuff and not really have to need, like you can use Blender, free program, and you can have the stuff that you would need. Because back, if you would go back, you're like in Blender 2 point or 1 point something, not in 3.5 now. So you don't even have to for your whole team spend money, so you save money. It's like so much stuff has changed, plus it's faster. It's really nuts, but that really comes down to how much really the person is passionate. If you're what your line of work is. If you're not passionate, you're not going to be as efficient. And since this is an art form, and it's an art form with a different expectations. Oh, there it is. No. It's got to be balanced. It's got to have this. It's got to have that. Unlike just looking at someone's painting and just be like, oh, cool. But yeah, for like that stuff, and that's a big thing because like you go back even more, less people knew about stuff. So you can. Less people were experienced, less people had those programs, less people had that money, so then less people did those things, which means less tutorials, less information, no ChatGPT, so you can't really ask anything for that information, so you gotta brute force your way through, which takes forever. Oh, but now that's slowly going away, which is nuts. Not just because of ChatGPT, but like, you got Unreal 5 that's got like Nanite, you got Lumen, you got all this beautiful stuff that you can still, like, you still have your limitations, but really the only limitation is size. 4K scan textures, not optimizing that stuff. You gotta be in the inner circle to know that stuff. And now that's really not the case anymore. Everybody talks about it, like that's all out there now, which is pretty nuts. And that happened only recently, like in the past like few years. It's like literally the industrial revolution in like gaming right now, but it's like no one's really talking about it. The only big thing is ChatGPT, but that's not really gaming. That's just like something that is third party and used for literally anything you want, not just gaming. So it would probably have to be like Squad, where they have that Star Wars mod, which is fan made, and basically having the Squad framework and engine makes that Star Wars game better than any Star Wars game out there because it's literally the most realistic because it's using Squad's framework. Now, if you think of an H&G game, that's a big toll because you're gonna have to have like an RTS, right? So imagine Star Wars. Someone can mod the map and make it Naboo. Make it Naboo, and have Naboo. And it's like literally with the RTS, you just change the texture. And then also have like an in-game thing where you can actually change the RTS points. For this engine, that's literally practically impossible because you would have to all custom edit that stuff. For Unreal 5, you can get really smooth and really loosey-goosey with that. Of course, you gotta still know some pretty high-level stuff with Unreal, but is it this engine? No. So it's like, or this level. I'm using this because I'm kind of throwing some stuff at this engine. This engine's actually remarkable. It's just, it's 2023. Like, once it's 2030, are we still gonna be playing this game in 2030? We would be, right? We still would because we love it so much. But would we get the stuff that would make a 2030 H&G game? Heck no. Because we're using this, right? So it's like, it's crazy because it sucks at the same time because of just like the limitations. But if any game engine that legit has this problem, in my opinion, I've said this a few times for those who haven't heard it, I really do believe if it was led correctly, which I think if it wasn't, it's, well, led correctly in the sense that it would have happened, and no matter how we got there, it still would have happened, is that H&G in like 2017, that's when they started, or mid-2017 to early 2018, that should have been the moment they decided to move to Unreal. Of course, Unreal 4, no Unreal 5, they didn't say anything about that, so it's like, okay, understandable. That's really sucky, but if they took the chance and actually started doing what they're doing now, the servers would still be up. This stuff would still be, we would still be paying them because the battle pass would have been in, so all that money, all that income would have been directly used. All the income that they already had, all that stuff would have already been used, all that people that were already still there, and I guess didn't go to Unity from confirmed sources now, which I'm surprised they didn't, like, which is nuts. They went to Unity, but didn't use Unity. That's actually pretty insane, which, I mean, that's Again, understandable, but the opportunities were there. But if they did that, then we would have H&G 2 in Unreal 4 right now. Guaranteed. It would have been... If it was truly as attacked as they're attacking it right now, and people learned, developers, all the Rito started learning in their off time, and all that stuff. Which, again, understandable. You got your stuff that get, you know, you're not going to be doing that in off time, blah, 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 blah. Understandable. But, in my opinion, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not going to make it, or, like, I think of it like war, you know, a general, an officer, they're going to be sweating, you know, sweat. Go off. Go hard. You know, like, people get wounded, they're still in the battlefield, keep going. Type of stuff. It's like, well, bite the bullet for a bit. It's only going to be 4 months or a year that you're going to learn that stuff. And then now you learn more, you're better as a developer, you've increased your actual personal worth in the whole development scene because now you know more. So off of that, which is kind of funny, that's said about everybody that learning like Unreal or Unity or that type of stuff, is that everybody's kind of in that boat, including me, until I started like learning. But still, imagine if we all did that sooner. Like, that's what I'm saying. At least learned 100 hours worth. We would start so much faster. And if all that started sooner, they swapped or started transferring, doing that stuff for Unreal, I can guarantee we would... let's just say it still would have went down. I don't think it would be at the same time. Well, H&G. I'll say this. To make it even harder for this situation, it still would... H&G itself, not H&G 2, it still would go down on tomorrow. So, like... That is always certain. But they started the transferring of, remaking H&G 2, or remaking H&G in Unity, or in Unreal Unity, whatever they picked, right? They did that sooner. I can guarantee we would have had H&G 2 and already, like, a playable test, at least. Because I'm considering, or I'm thinking about this, like, they took years to develop this game and didn't do any playtests. So, like, just like right now, we can't play H&G 2, so it's the same type of situation, but they were developing the game. Imagine how much they would have gotten done. Imagine how much opportunity all that stuff would have been there. And that's just a crazy thing. Now that I know that Bjorn, like, man, I guess it's understandable. He wants to focus everything on Unity, which is understandable, but it's like, bro, you could have did that. Could have hired someone, could have did that, could have did this, what ifs, but, we're here. But man, the opportunities were there, still with some crazy, because for H&G 2, they want to do some crazy persistent stuff. Okay, and all that stuff. Okay, cool. That still could have been, that still could have happened. And you got a framework that would have been much better to work on than H&G. Because it's like now, if they don't do H&G 2, then for me personally, I'm going to think their other game isn't good, right? So it's like, because if they didn't handle this, they definitely didn't handle the other one right. And that's now becoming their thing. If it truly happens, right? Because they could do a No Man's Sky situation, and that really won't put them in that boat. That'll put them in the No Man's Sky situation, in that boat, where it's like in the middle. It really all depends on what they do here within the next couple of days, and especially a month. Because if there's nothing within a month, the letters from the front have stopped, so, all that stuff. But they are also doing things and saying things, so there's still a lot of back and forth, which gives me the, 42% chance of, it going up. Well, 62 right now, or 68, but, if there's no announcements within the next 2 days, then it's going 42%. From my account and all this stuff, oh man, it's, again, very bittersweet, because I love H&G, I still love everything about it. And H&G, even though we're beginning H&G 2, H&G 2 is now could be H&G. Because it's literally going to be a different thing. And no matter what other game in the future, even if the new guys, or if me, I'm an OG veteran, I'm learning Unreal 5, what if I decide I really want to go hardcore and actually make an H&G 2 game, right? Or make an H&G game. Truly believe I could make that, but I'm still deciding whether if I would want to do that, because it is, as more as I understand development, H&G, just within its bare form, is such an ambitious task. It really is. But, again, for me, especially, it's my own personal experience, me knowing me and all that stuff, but I truly believe I would be able to pull off at least a okay H&G if I truly dedicated and did that stuff. People who don't have that experience of H&G, especially being a gamer of it, not just a developer, but being the gamer, experiencing the game for 1,500 in-game hours. That's in-game. For my out-game, it is... Oh, you can see it. Yeah, sometimes it shows you the new Steam overlay, sometimes it doesn't. So that's broken as well. But my official is 3.2K. That's like a lot of AFK, or it's menu hours slash AFK hours, which really just means, this means the other like 1500 is been in the menus in the RTS. That's what that means basically. But of course, over the years, we've seen that change, leadership change. Mainly it's Bjorn. I mean, you gotta blame the leadership of like not really kind of doing something, hiring someone, doing something, of course, money, but it's like, well, then train Greenbow. Greenbow looks like he could have been a really good leader, but wasn't actually properly adjusted to being like in that leadership position, or semi-leadership position, even if it like he didn't want it. Still give him some like power, do something, because even if he's not, if he doesn't believe in himself, you know you do, and I do, and I'm just a person who just, I can tell Greenbow is awesome, you know, like, and also Umbra, but like from that video, especially how Greenbow explained certain things, that's the passion that H&G started, and that's how H&G was made, was because of people like Greenbow, which was Bjorn, and the other guys as well, before they got jaded. And before the jadedness, I think some just left, which is, maybe they were jaded and then left, or they just left for various reasons. But especially for Bjorn, you can tell that it was some jadedness because there was no actions put in place. Especially when they did the... Who remembers the other H&G live streams? when Bjorn and, I think, Greenbow, or the other guy, was on the couch. And all that stuff, and how Bjorn explained, and just like how out of touch he was from everything versus Greenbow, and that's why he needed Greenbow there. I'm pretty sure it was Greenbow, and it's kind of interesting that Greenbow is always there. Oh, Garmel. Yes, Garmel. Well, Garmel for the first one, Greenbow for the second one, that's it. Actually, yeah, so he was another good guy as well, Umbra as well. There was not many people publicly that I've seen talk about the game in certain ways, but I remember watching those live streams and seeing, I think it was Garmel, and maybe Greenbow hopped in for some other ones as well. And it's just like they were getting shut down or something. Like, there's no way they weren't like having certain ideas this whole time, right? So like, who was the leadership not allowing those ideas to flourish? Blah, 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 blah. Which I say because we're not getting that leadership. Even with TLM and H&G 2, if they really do pop it off, it's not going to be like that. Now, it might be their own version, right? So they might get jaded, might do their own things, right? That's a possibility. If, with me personally, if Red Bjorn was still here, I would be... that percentage would be 0, right? It, like, for me personally, and I've said this a few times, no, nothing against Bjorn personally. It's legit, it's all business. Legit it is. It's like, I bet he's a great guy, but at the end of the day, not a great leader for sustainable stuff over time, because he's prone to get jaded due to emotional stuff. Because if not, then that leadership, again, it's crazy for me. I can't give you exactly, you know, like my experiences and stuff like that, but if any of you get into the development field in the future, I can guarantee 100% all my life that you will start to see the stuff that I'm seeing, like, again, the magic trick, the magician thing. It's like, Red Bjorn's a, you know, magician. He performed his magic tricks, and then he stopped liking magic. And then I could see that, and then he just stopped doing magic for this part, and he's doing magic in a different way. Especially understanding, like, just how much more he could do now, he just doesn't. Or, like, you know, that opportunity. But it's just, I don't know. I guess it's a certain type of person? I don't know. I really don't believe that is the case. I just believe it's just jadedness at the end of the day. Like, however that is, and not having the foresight of knowing that, and like taking precautions, and like doing everything in the way to maximize what's going on. Not just profits, but maximize, okay, players are having this bad experience, let's maximize, you know, change the balance. Let's maximize their experiences better. Think about this. It's just someone in the H&G community rose from the ranks of the gamer and became a developer. Do you think that guy would be like a Garmel, right? You know what I mean? So it's not just me. It's anyone in that situation going through that will always be better and always have like something awesome. Of course, with all that extra stuff of like what could have been handled, this and that, what, you know, what could have been better, blah, blah, blah. Regardless, we've all got stuff that is now could be forever in our experiences. And that's what gaming is. It's ephemeral. Like, you have this, you remember our Skyrim playthroughs, you remember that certain stuff, remember those certain games and stuff like that, and now H&G has become one of those games, which is a beautiful moment, of course, sad moments, I guess just in that, but bittersweet, especially more sweet, with like the rebirthing and what's becoming in the future, especially just like how we're all going to be proceeding in the future in certain ways. I truly believe it has benefited us all in many different ways, whether we realize it or not. The connections that we've gained, everything that we've gained, was thankfully because of H&G. If H&G wasn't here, well, we've all kind of like gathered in this way to kind of become like this community and all that type of stuff. No. We know each other? No. So like with all that, still that is not gonna, that that itself, that's still H&G, and that's not going to go away. That's going to stay there. The only way that's going to go away is for us, the community, to let that go away, to let that continue to be ephemeral and continue to be in that type of thing, regardless if you're a developer or not. Just communicating, just saying, hey, I want to play a game like this. So some like CEO guy's like, okay, that's some potential money, like just something like that. So something like starts triggering, because we have this beautiful package, this beautiful experience of a game that not many others have had, and that is something that is nuts. Thinking it's 2023 and not too many people experience this type of game. Isn't that nuts? This thing was already dead walking this whole time, when we should have had something a little bit more live and walking, like in Unreal or in Unity, you know, go back to that conversation and stuff. What does this mean for me, for your boy, you know, being like an H&G? H&G was a game for me that has helped me in so many different ways that I've already got into, like Hell Let Loose, Squad, those type of games. FPS shooters, I'm still going to go down into that genre. I'm going to keep my sights out for another H&G game, so if there's going to be any of those games in the future, you're going to know your boy's going to be playing those type of games. Okay, if that's going to be the case. But not just only that, I got a lot of different stuff that, especially now, because H&G, I love the game so much, but now I got a lot of time to like check out other games. So to be able to check out other games that I haven't been over the years, that's going to be a huge thing for me. And then also continue to do like my Unreal 5 development, getting that figured out as well. But of course, continuing with RTS and FPS games, and more RTS games too, because I didn't really dip into them too much, but getting into like those RTS games that are like, you know, just RTS, real-time strategy in many different ways. You got Prison Architect, and then you got like StarCraft, RTS games in that genre technically. So all that, just and a lot of that I haven't even touched at all. Doing like we've gotten Space Engineers, like that type of games and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, then you can always, of course, check out me when I go live and stuff like that. Get in the Sweat Lounge Discord and get notified when I go live and all that type of stuff. This will be again my final H&G stream. That is okay, because that means we can start another journey in a different game and stuff like that. We got a big bright future, and we got like already a new RTS game, so I wonder what new ones are being made and like all that stuff. So like this type of realm of game, we don't just have other games, but we're starting to get some more games like this, or like in the realm of FPS and RTS, because this is FPS RTS, but this is FPS RTS Persistence World War II. So it's like goes all the way down from like the top one, which again kind of crazy, because they immediately went down here like immediate from like 2013, kind of nuts. But regardless, and for everybody tuning in, I appreciate, for all my H&G lovers, I appreciate you very much, and for this whole experience of H&G and being able to stream it to you guys, especially in the way that we do in this, like, you know, sharing the experiences, being super sweaty on that. It's something I will never forget, because this is, again, further making me a better person. I feel like you guys have, in many ways, have contributed to that, and I appreciate you guys very much for being on this journey and helping me go through that type of like transition and getting better and all that type of stuff as a personal person, all that type of different ways. And I hope I've done that to you guys as well, as much as possible, because that's like, you know, big thing here and all that type of stuff. I hope you guys will have a great future, healthy future, all the stuff, everything, legit everything. Sending all, you know, send all my love, all the luck that way.